Every single location has one thing in common: Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Aurora, the Covenant School, and Club Q nightclub. Every single one. A sign. A posted piece of paper that says gun-free zone. Since Congress passed the Gun-Free School Zones Act in 1990, targeted school shootings have increased by 200%. Firearm-related incidents on or near school campuses have jumped 327%. 200%. In the locations the government specifically told you were protected. So here's a question nobody in Washington wants to answer. If gun-free zones make places safer, why do the deadliest attacks in American history keep happening inside of them? Either this policy is a catastrophic failure, or it's working exactly as designed, just not for you. And I'm going to show you the data they're not putting on the evening news. Let's make this personal, because it is. You work hard. You play by the rules. Maybe you went through the background check, took the safety course, and got your concealed carry permit. You did everything right. And the moment you walk through the door of your child's school, your church, or a posted business, the law strips that right away from you. Not from the criminal, from you. Meanwhile, your tax dollars fund the enforcement of a policy that has produced zero evidence it deters a single bad actor. Not one. The person planning a targeted attack doesn't stop at the door to read the sign. They plan around it. You, the law-abiding citizen, are the only one who stops. Think about what that means for your family. 1/3 of American adults now say they avoid certain public places because they're afraid of being caught in a mass shooting. That's not a fringe statistic. That's your neighbors. That's you, maybe. And the official government response is to post a sign and call it a solution. Your freedom to defend yourself doesn't stop at a zip code. Your responsibility to your family doesn't either. If you're tired of getting analysis filtered through a corporate newsroom, hit subscribe right now. This is the briefing they don't want you to have. Now, to be fair, and as you know I always am, let's actually look at the best argument for gun-free zones. Because if you can't steelman the other side, then you're not making an argument. You're just venting. The most compelling case for gun-free zone policy goes like this. Remove guns from a space entirely, and you remove the mechanism of gun violence. It's a clean, logical premise. There's actually a 2024 study published in the Lancet that found active shootings were 62.5% less likely to occur in gun-free establishments than in gun-allowing ones. A separate analysis of bars and restaurants in Texas found gun-free locations had 37% fewer shootings in and around their premises. That's the real data. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't exist. But here's what those studies don't tell you. And this is where the official narrative starts to fall apart. The Lancet study excluded schools entirely because all schools are already gun-free zones under federal law. They couldn't use schools as a comparison point. So the crown jewel of the gun-free zones work argument is built on a data set that deliberately leaves out the places where the policy has most catastrophically failed. And the broader question, do these zones deter targeted, premeditated mass public attacks? That's a completely different question. And the answer is not what they're telling you. Let's go to the record. Not opinion, the actual record. Before the Gun-Free School Zones Act passed in 1990, researchers documented 7 targeted school attacks in the United States. 7. Those attacks resulted in 23 deaths and 84 injuries. After the law passed, from 1990 through 2023, there were 21 targeted attacks, 206 deaths, and 204 injuries. The law didn't protect anyone. It coincided with an explosion in exactly the kind of violence it claimed it would stop. Now look at what's happened where states have gone the other direction. As of 2025, 15 states have Sentinel or Guardian programs. They allow trained, vetted teachers to carry firearms on campus. And in every single school that has participated in those programs, there's not been one targeted shooting. Not one. 67% of the states where districts can arm teachers have had 0 targeted school shootings since the legislation passed. 0. In schools where a law-abiding adult was present and armed. The Crime Prevention Research Center, led by economist John Lott, has tracked mass public shootings from 1998 through 2025. Their data shows approximately 82% of those attacks occurred in gun-free zones. Even Rand Corporation, which is not a conservative think tank, found in a 2024 analysis that 48% of active school shootings occurred in gun-free zones. Nearly half in locations that were legally designated as protected. And here's the part that should make your blood run cold. In August 2025, a shooter in Minneapolis left behind a manifesto. In it, he explicitly stated he chose his target because it was a gun-free zone. He did the math. He knew no one would shoot back. That's not a theory. That's a documented, stated motivation in the attacker's own words. Gun-free zones aren't invisible to violent predators. They're a feature, not a bug. The sign doesn't say safe zone. It says no one here will stop you. And here's the enforcement reality. In most locations, there is no metal detector, no armed guard, no mechanism whatsoever. There's just a posted notice that the law-abiding citizen respects and the criminal ignores. It's theater. Expensive, deadly theater. Here's where we apply the lens that no mainstream outlet will. This isn't a safety policy. It's a power structure, and it expands government authority at the direct expense of individual rights. The Gun-Free School Zones Act was signed by a Republican president, George H.W. Bush, in 1990. The Supreme Court struck it down in 1995 in United States v. Lopez, ruling Congress had exceeded its constitutional authority. The federal government didn't accept the ruling, so they amended the law and reinstated it within a year. When the judiciary said no, the administrative state found a workaround. That tells you everything about how committed they are to this principle, which isn't your safety, it's their authority. Think about what this law actually does at the individual level. You've done nothing wrong. You've passed a background check. You've completed training. You've been vetted by your state. And the government says within 1,000 feet of a school, your right to self-defense is suspended. Not the criminal's, yours. Because a criminal was never going to comply anyway. This is the clearest possible violation of the non-aggression principle. You've harmed no one. You've threatened no one. But the state has unilaterally removed your ability to protect yourself and your family based purely on geography. And corporations love it. A business posts a gun-free sign and transfers legal liability. They've done something, but you're the one left defenseless, and their insurance policy rate went down. That's not safety policy. That's crony liability management disguised as civic virtue. And I'll say it plainly. Any Republican who votes to expand gun-free zones without demanding evidence that they work deserves the same scrutiny as any Democrat. This isn't a party issue. It's a liberty issue. Here's what's coming if this trajectory holds, and the timeline is closer than you think. After the Supreme Court's 2022 Bruen decision struck down New York's May issue carry law, blue states didn't back down. They pivoted. They immediately passed legislation dramatically expanding the list of sensitive places: churches, subway systems, parks, Times Square itself. They lost the constitutional fight on permits, so they're winning the policy war on geography. If every public space becomes a sensitive place, the Bruen ruling becomes meaningless. You have the right to carry, just know where you actually go. If the pattern spreads federally, hospitals, transit hubs, government buildings, stadiums, millions of permit holders effectively lose meaningful carry rights in daily life. Without a single constitutional amendment. Without a single honest debate. Just a slow ratchet, one sensitive place at a time. And every tragedy will be used to add one more location to that list. That's the playbook. That's been the playbook. Don't let the next 10 years look like the last 35. So what do you actually do with this? First, find out if your state has a Sentinel or Guardian program for teachers. If it doesn't, contact your state representative. This isn't radical. It's a data-backed solution that's already working in 15 states. Make that call. Second, know your carry laws cold. Understand exactly where your rights end in your state and why. A gun-free zone boundary doesn't care that you didn't see the sign. Third, and this might be the most important thing I can ask, share this video with one parent who still believes a posted sign keeps their child safer than a trained armed adult in the building. Just one. That's how this information moves. And make sure to head over to shesright1776.com and sign up for the newsletter. No filter, no corporate agenda, just the briefing they don't want you to have delivered straight to your inbox. And while you're there, make sure you grab the free downloads I've created for you, packed full of information that you need to know now. And if this kind of analysis matters to you, subscribe. Because this channel exists to give you the truth mainstream media doesn't profit from telling. The most dangerous thing in that school isn't a gun. It's the sign that told the only person willing to stop a shooter to leave it in the car.